One of the great questions of therapy, even of life, is who am I? Right? Who are you? Discovering that, creating that, forming that so you can face your life with confidence and direction. Billy in Agatha All Along goes from precocious teen to pretty badass Wiccan. Mended light. All right, we're going to model our own identity formation journey after the character of Billy in Agatha All Along. Here he's in a car with his boyfriend, and he's going to reveal a little bit of his backstory.
I'm just going to say it. I can't not say it. I'm just going to say, William Kaplan, I love you.
So Billy can read thoughts.
Sorry, I need to tell you something.
Really? I need to tell you something.
Yeah, me first.
Okay.
So this thing happens when I'm with someone I care a lot about and they're having intense feelings.
He's an empath.
I already said it before.
I'm into it.
He's also a psychic.
The car accident. I never told you about it, but Eddie, I died that night. And when I came back, I was different. Something else. Something more. I'm not William Kaplan. At least, not entirely. I still don't remember anything from before the accident. Just pretended to recover so my parents wouldn't worry.
So what's he talking about? Well, there was a nice Jewish kid named William Kaplan who on the way home from his bar mitzvah got in a car accident and he died. And he got in a car accident because if you've seen WandaVision, the Scarlet Witch was shutting down this entire simulation that she created in this small town, and she was shutting down, she had created through magic 2 boys, but they weren't real. And in shutting it all down, the boys ceased to exist. Except one of them leapt into the body of this teenage boy who just died and continued to exist. This is the son of Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. And he knows he's in somebody else's body, and he's got 2 identities in there. Maybe you felt like this. I mean, this is all supernatural, fantastical, Marvel TV stuff, but just the notion that there's a couple different versions of you. The one that you were when you were young, the one that's been fighting to get out, the expectations and hopes of the people who love you, your desires for your own life, balancing all of that and trying to figure it out. Billy's confused, and he doesn't know who he is, but he knows that he wants to share whoever he is with Eddie. So here's Billy on an adventure with a coven of witches, and Agatha has her suspicions, but Agatha does what she does. She's a succubus, and she sucked the power out of another witch and killed her. And here's Billy, who has been kind of a witch fanboy. He thinks witchcraft is cool and all these things, and he wants to be one of them. And witnessing this horrific thing transpire, he's questioning what all of this even means.
How could you kill her?
I couldn't control it.
Yes, you could have. Don't lie to me.
I'm not.
You wanted her power. That's what this has always been about for you, isn't it?
Of course it is. That's what all of this is about. For any of us. Death comes for us all.
So that's what it means to be a witch? Killing people to serve your own agenda? No. Not for me.
I have thoughts, but first I want to let Catherine Hahn do her magic here, her acting magic.
Are you sure?
Ugh.
So much like your mother.
Now at this point they haven't discussed who his mother is. This is where he realizes that Agatha has figured it out. So here's what I wanted to touch on when it comes to identity formation here. Being a witch means to Agatha, and what being a witch means to the other witches who, on the whole, are far more decent and have a lot more integrity and compassion than Agatha does, but they still embrace the bitter truth of death comes for us all, and we're all looking for power. And that doesn't connect with his understanding of what this all is, what being a witch means. It's not what he wanted. It's interesting because this is about witches and witchcraft, which, traditionally from Abrahamic faith perspective, like that's all dark and scary. And yet, I've met any number of Wiccans who are just lovely, delightful people who are all about decency and goodness and worship, right? And worship of the earth and doing right by others and, do whatever you will, but harm no one, all these values that I really respect and admire. But I think this is an interesting take on a faith crisis. We usually associate faith crises with people of Abrahamic faith traditions, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, right? And people have things that challenge their faith and they're struggling. Well, here we have a witch, a young male witch. And he's saying this dark, sinister side. He says, this what being a witch means? Killing people for your own agenda? And then he says, no, not for me. It's not what it is for me. Something that I love about the character of Billy is he has something that he believes in, he has something that he's drawn to, but he, like all of us, chooses what it means and chooses how to practice it. And I think that's true of any belief system or worldview. One of my favorite movies recently was Heretic, where Hugh Grant traps a pair of missionaries in his house, Latter-day Saint missionaries, as a matter of fact, and tries to get them to question everything they believe in. And I'm going to mild spoiler here, but he sees religion as control and manipulation. They see religion as an opportunity to love and serve. They're both looking at the same thing, but they're bringing themselves to it. And that's true for all of us. When we are establishing our identities, we can choose any number of worldviews or beliefs, but we also choose our core values. In other words, how to practice those beliefs, how to practice those worldviews. Even though I'm not a witch or into Wicca or anything like that, and I know this isn't Wicca, I know this is its own thing, but I'm just saying this is far removed from my personal belief and experience, and yet it feels so close. This idea of, here's what I believe, and then I see other people practicing it in ways that are cruel or judgmental or self-righteous or hurtful, and saying that's not what it means to me. And I'm going to decide what it means to me. And that's empowering and that's beautiful.
What does Billy Maximoff want at the end of the road?
Big magic is already in the bag.
Huh. Is it find Mama? No. She chose a town full of strangers over her own flesh.
No, she chose to do the right thing for once, but...
What about Robo-Papa?
Vision.
Lord knows where he is, or in how many pieces. So who is left? Oh, right! There's two of you! You're after Toby!
Tommy,
That's what I said.
he's out there somewhere. I can sense him, I just
His brother.
can't find him.
Gosh, you really are a Maximoff. Otherwise, none of this would be nearly as dramatic.
He's my brother. If you really want to finish this together, just know that I do not trust you at all. Ever.
Now, as with all great stories, there are arcs and twists and turns to this because he does not trust her at all ever, except later he does. Later, when she's about to be killed and he has seen other sides of her, he decides to put his life on the line to save her and shows, by the way, what being a witch means to him. Like his mother, he's going to use this power for good. and look pretty kick-ass while doing it, just like his mother.
You look good.
She got shredded by glass.
Take it all.
Because he's seen her take all the power from somebody before and kill them. And here he's choosing to trust her. Don't take it all. Leave me alive. Because you take all my power, I'll die. It's a pretty big gamble. He's trusting because he's allowing her to earn it. And she has shown that there's something in there that she's going to do the right thing. But again, he was disillusioned in his faith, so to speak, right? Because of how he saw others practicing it. And for some people, what lies at the end of a faith crisis or a paradigm shift, right? Because it's not just a faith crisis, this can happen to anybody, but where your worldview goes from this to this, is you could lose yourself, right? If your sense of self is tied to this worldview, to this set of beliefs, and it shifts or you lose it, then you lose who you are. But Billy does the reverse, and this is the psychologically powerful and healthy component of this, is if you decide who you are, then your beliefs can support that. And Billy has decided, I'm not a killer, I'm not self-serving, I'm somebody who is good and who is going to do the right thing. And then that's his approach to witchcraft, which I think is very, very cool and a lesson for all of us. No matter whatever your worldview is, you can practice it with love and compassion and decency, or you can be vicious and cruel and self-righteous. And I love what he demonstrates here. So she died to save him, is what it looked like to him.
I saw you die.
Yeah, and now I'm a ghost. Can you dig it?
I love her.
I mean, look at this. Check it out.
I saw you die.
By the way, I did not sacrifice myself for you.
Yes, you did.
I took a calculated risk. Still.
You're trying to save faith. Save face, sorry, not faith. Trying to save face that you're still this mean, nasty witch, but you did. You died to save him.
Wait, Agatha.
Yeah.
The road.
What about it?
Did I make the road?
There was no witch's road. There was no series of tests or trials before he came along. Agatha would lure witches in, say, if you follow the witch's road and pass all the trials, then you can have whatever your heart desires. She would do that to lure them in and then take their power. But Billy, because he's Wanda Maximoff's son, if you saw WandaVision, where with her magic she can create whole worlds out of nothing, he did the same thing. And he's coming to terms with, I created this whole series of trials that left several of our friends dead.
Unlike your mother. Sorry. Wanda. You actually did something interesting with your power.
You're making fun of me. This is just one of your tricks.
The ballad was the trick. It was just a con to lure other gullible witches. The song doesn't mean anything. It never did. The road wasn't real until you made it real.
So you're saying that all of that, everything we went through.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! If I made the road, like if I literally made the road, then that means that it means that I killed them. Are they ghosts too? I'm a murderer. Alice.
Well, I killed Alice.
Lilia, in the tower.
That was her choice.
Mrs. Davis.
Who?
She didn't even belong on the road, and now she's dead because of me.
Yes, the gardening lady. Mm-hmm.
Agatha, I killed them. My mind killed them.
Don't give yourself too much credit. If you actually do the math on it, you saved a life.
What?
You saved a life is a reference to Jennifer, who survived. Because of Billy, she survived.
I was gonna kill them all in my basement on day one. If you want to be a witch, get used to this feeling.
I'll never get used to this.
We'll see.
And we will, and I'm excited to see what happens down the road. But what I think is compelling about this is he realizes that Agatha was going to kill them all regardless. So yes, he created all the trials, and some of them died during these trials, but he saved one of them. But he has this guilt that indirectly I caused their deaths. I will never get used to this, she says. We'll see. She learned a long time ago to get used to numbing her conscience. She learned a long time ago to shut that off so she could pursue what she wanted. And I hope as the series continues that Billy / Wiccan stays true to who he is. When he says, I'll never get used to this, in other words, I'll never shut my conscience off, that's taking a bold stand of declaring his identity of who he is. Whenever I have people in my therapy office and they say, I don't know who I am, I always say, well, who do you want to be? Or they say, I've got to discover who I am. And I say, no. You create it. You choose it. That is the beautiful thing about identity formation is it's not out there for you to find. It's not a treasure for you to uncover. It's for you to decide, what are my values? What makes me happy? What helps me to feel centered? Who do I admire? Not because of their specific gifts or talents. We can't always choose our gifts and talents, but we can always choose who we are, how we treat others, how we show up in life, our integrity, our accountability, our kindness, our compassion. These are things that we can choose. And like Billy, all of us can choose exactly who we want to be and what our beliefs actually mean to us in practical lived reality. Now, Billy, in seeing himself, comes to see the other witches clearly. And I want to teach you how to do that. I've got a video called See Yourself to See Others. It's going to pop up here on screen in just a minute. I've also got a whole series, Therapizing Agatha All Along, for you to enjoy. So here's what I want to know. Who do you want to be? I actually want you to tell me in the comments below, who do you want to be? What is your identity? What is your center? And do you relate to Billy's journey? Let me know why. Make sure you click on that video link for See Yourself to See Others. And until next time, folks, keep shining. We need your light.